went ahead and pulled off everything out of the back here, clear it so it's straight through, so I can get my K&N filter installed. Got rid of all the air box. I'm going to go ahead and put a plate in here under the frame and mount all the rectifier and the fuse box and all that stuff right here flush underneath the seat. It'll be, grind off all your brackets, and it'll be nice and clean through there. But one of the problems is, of course, the coolant overflow bottle won't have a place to mount, or if it does, it would be ugly to leave it there. So you should always actually always have a coolant overflow. A lot of people just run their hose off, but actually you'll tend to overheat eventually, because when your engine heats up and the radiator needs to kind of build up pressure, it'll need to push out some of that fluid and air. But when it cools off, it needs to pull it back in. And if you keep just pushing it out, you'll eventually run out of the fluid, and you'll actually run hotter most of the time. So it's better to actually have a coolant overflow. Now, there's not many places to mount it there, but I think something right here, right next to the radiator, because this is actually the overflow hose right there. And so the idea I was having was take a Monster Energy drink bottle and some hoses, use some hoses, maybe some clear ones that I got, and mount that right like that. Now that'll match up pretty well to the right size. One of the things you got to watch out for is some people will they'll just run the hose in and they won't have a vent hose, or they'll get one of these T connectors and they'll run the vent hose off the same T connection that the intake is, and that won't work either. What you really need to do is you need to have a hose that comes in all the way to the bottom, or through here, but all the way to the bottom for the fill. And then you need to have a vent hose that's about an inch from the top that would go out. So what I've done is I found some T connectors, and I went ahead and found a rubber grommet to use as a spacer and a plug for the top. I'm going to use that for my fill hose. And I'm going to likewise do the same thing over on this side of the cap for the vent hose, and then run that out the back side. So, it's pretty hard to chug one of these things when you want to use the can. So I happen to have an empty Sailor Jerry, poured it in there. It looks like Sailor Jerry, so that seems about the right thing to do. But let me fabricate this cap, and then we'll figure out how to mount that.